Long ago, when the moon still walked among men and the rivers spoke in riddles, there was a village called Nzulwa, nestled between the red hills of the east and the great serpent river, Noka, whose waters shimmered like molten copper under the sun. Nzulwa was not rich, but it was blessed. The soil gave sweet yams. The rains came on time. The children played barefoot beneath the baobabs, and the elders sat in the shade, telling stories older than memory. But above all, they respected Mumby's grove. It was a small forest of ancient acacia trees, tangled with vines and moss-covered stones. No one knew who Mumby was. Some said she was the first woman of the land. Others whispered she was a spirit who married the earth. But all agreed the grove was sacred. No fire was lit there, no axe swung, no footstep too deep, until the day Quaim broke the silence. He was a thin boy, 10 summers old, with eyes too big for his face, and a goat named Picky, who never listened. One afternoon, Picky bolted toward the grove, chasing a butterfly with wings like stained glass. "Picky, come back," Quaim cried, scrambling after him. He didn't see the root. He didn't hear the wind stop. He fell into a hollow beneath a gnarled acacia, its bark carved with symbols no one in Nzulwa could read. And there, nestled in dark soil, was a stone. It pulsed like a heartbeat, red as blood, warm as breath. A ruby, large as a pigeon's egg, glowing faintly in the dim light. Quaim picked it up, and the grove inhaled. Back in the village, the elders gathered around the stone like moths to flame. "It's beautiful," said Chief Kosi, turning it in the firelight. But Numbi, the oldest woman in Nzulwa, so old her skin looked like cracked riverbed, shook her head. Her voice was dry leaves scraping stone. "That stone is not a gift," she croaked. "It is a tear of the earth shed when the first man broke a promise to the ancestors." No one listened. They saw only wealth. They saw tin roofs, new wells, medicine, escape, so they dug. They tore up the roots of Mumby's grove. They toppled the standing stones. They laughed as the soil gave up emeralds the color of jungle pools, sapphires that hummed at midnight, and diamonds that wept when held to the moon. The village changed overnight. Huts with thatch roofs became homes with glass windows. Men wore gold chains. Children wore shoes. But the first death came quietly. Jabari, the chief's brother, had claimed the largest ruby. He wore it around his neck, boasting it gave him visions of power. He dreamed of palaces, of armies, of ruling all the lands beyond the hills. Then, one morning, his wife found him standing in the corner of their hut, frozen, not dead, turned to stone. His skin was cold marble, his eyes wide, mouth open in a silent scream. Black veins crawled beneath his surface like roots. They tried to bury him. But at dawn, his statue stood in the village square, one arm stretched out, pointing back at the grove. Mumby wept. "You have awakened the Ngulu," she said. "The earth remembers. The ancestors hunger. They do not forgive." But the people only dug deeper. They found a cavern beneath the grove, hidden behind a waterfall of roots. Its walls glittered with veins of gemstone. And at its heart, on a throne of black obsidian, sat a crown. It was woven from gold and blood-red crystals. It pulsed like a heart. A voice rose from the darkness, not loud, but everywhere. "Take what you desire, but pay what you owe." No one saw who spoke, but Jabari's son, Duma, stepped forward. "We've paid with our sweat. Our hands bleed from digging." The voice whispered, "The earth does not want sweat. It wants souls." Duma laughed. He placed the crown on his head. That night, the wind changed. It no longer carried birdsong or the scent of blooming jasmine. It carried whispers, voices old, broken, weeping, spoke in the language of the ancestors. They called names. They told secrets only the dead should know. And then came the dreams. Every person who had touched the gem began to dream of the grove. In the dream, they walked barefoot through Mumby's grove. The trees had EYS in their trunks. The stones wept black oil. And from the soil HANDS skeletal, covered in moss, and earth reached up, grasping. A voice echoed, "You took our tears. Now give us your breath." One by one, the gem owners began to vanish. Not stolen, not murdered, they walked into the grove at midnight, barefoot, blank-eyed, silent, and the earth swallowed them, no scream, no struggle, just gone. The next morning, a new gem would appear shaped like a human heart, warm, faintly pulsing. The villagers called them soul stones. They tried to flee, but those who left didn't make it far. Travelers found their bodies days later turned to stone, faces twisted in terror, gems embedded in their chests. Only Mumby remained. She refused to leave. "I made a promise," she told the last survivor, a young girl named Adia, who had taken no gem. "When I was a child, the spirits spoke to me. I swore to guard the grove, to wait." "Wait for what?" Adia asked. "For the day the earth spits up the greedy," Mumby said, her eyes reflecting the moon. "For the day the gems turn to dust, and the Ngulu sleep again." Adia left at dawn. She never looked back. Years passed. Nzulwa became a ruin. Vines swallowed the huts. The river changed course. The roads faded, but the grove remained. And the whispers, they never stopped. To this day, travelers who wander too close to the red hills speak of strange things. Of a boy who gives you a ruby if you're lost, his eyes too wide, his smile too still. Of a woman in rags, sitting beneath an acacia, whispering, "Listen," and if you kneel and press your ear to the soil, you'll hear it, 1,000 whispers, layered like echoes in a cave. "We are still hungry. You took our tears, now give us your breath." And beneath your feet, the earth pulses, like a heartbeat. But the worst stories, they're about the gems you find in your pocket. No memory of picking them up. You wake up, and there it is, a warm stone shaped like a heart, glowing faintly. You feel lucky. Rich, until the dreams begin. You walk barefoot through a dark forest. The trees watch. The wind calls your name. And something beneath the soil pulls. You wake up sweating, but your feet, they're covered in red dirt. And the gem, it's heavier. Each night, it grows heavier. And each night, you walk a little closer to the edge of the woods. Until one night, you don't wake up. And the next morning, a new heart-shaped gem appears in the grove. Warm, pulsing, waiting. The truth they won't tell you, there's a reason no one builds near Nzulwa, a reason satellite images show the grove as a black spot, like a hole in the world. And a reason GPS fails when you get too close. Because the grove is not just a place. It is alive. And the gems, they are not treasure. They are bait. The Ngulu, the hunger of the earth, feeds on greed, on broken promises, on those who forget the old ways. It doesn't kill you. It replaces you. Your body becomes stone. Your soul becomes a gem, and the cycle continues. Because someone always comes. Someone always takes. Final warning, if you ever find a gem that wasn't there before, do not pick it up. Do not admire it. Do not bring it home. Because the moment you touch it, the earth knows your name, and it will wait, patiently, until you're ready to pay what you owe. And when you finally walk into the dark, barefoot and silent, the last thing you'll hear is the wind whispering, "Thank you for watching." Subscribe for more chilling African folktale stories.